All right, we're back. July 21st, I'm joined with Wynn from the team now.
Hello, guys.
So yeah, what's the status of the game right now?
So in the previous several weeks, we're actually focusing on the latest implementation of the synced mechanism.
Okay.
We improved it to sync 4.5.
4.5 version.
Yeah, basically add a lot of strategy into the sync mechanism.
Okay.
We used it to spend no resource to summon or to transform those nanos, right?
Yeah.
You just use your chip and you sync the nanos, turn them into your own companion.
Yeah.
And for now, you will have to spend some energy to transform them or to summon them. You don't need to aim at any wild nano in the scene to transform them into your companion. You just spend those nano energies that you stored in your inventory to summon nanos at any time that you want.
Okay, so I've noticed in the playtest last week, right? So when you kill one of the nanos, there is like an animation of like their kind of essence floating back to you, right? And it kind of fills up your energy bar at the bottom.
Yes.
So I've noticed that energy bar now at the bottom, just under the chips, right? So there's like a chip icon, and there's like 2 bars, and like 1 level bar and then second level bar.
Yes.
And so could you just briefly explain like, so why are there 2 bars? How does that work right now? What is the philosophy there?
Okay, here we want to create this counters for the 4 different abilities, right?
Okay.
So player can sync, or for sync 4.5, player can summon a nano, right?
Yeah.
By spending 500 units of nano energy, which is 1 bar.
Yeah. Okay.
And then another player comes in saying that I want to counter you. I want to spend my super ability or active ability, for example, the bouncing ball.
Okay.
Basically, just a very high-tech grenade to destroy this nano, right? So 500 nano energy is spent and now destroyed by another player. But you still have the second bar. So you can pull this out and somehow hide yourself from the other player, buy yourself some time, and summon the other nano. If you're quick enough, you can even switch your chip and summon another type of nano, either to support you or to just go very aggressive against the other player. So basically give you this counter up opportunity.
Yeah.
Other player can counter you with their nano or with their ability, but still you have reserve.
Yeah.
So you have chance to summon another nano, but you need some time. You will have to rely on your guns, your positioning, or your teammate to create this chance for you. Sorry.
Sure. Okay, so the second bar is basically kind of a reserve, right? So it's like a backup, right? Like you want to build up and kind of save it up for later, so to speak. Okay, cool.
Basically, before the combat, you spend some time in the wilderness, kill some extra nanos, and build this reserve.
Okay.
Which will give you some vulnerability in the wild because you are shooting, right?
Yeah.
And attracts people.
Yeah.
However, taking this risk in the early gives you some other flexibility in the strategy in the end game,
for sure,
so that you can summon the second nano in the dire time.
Yeah, like if your first nano goes down, you can still have backup energy to summon the next one right away.
Yes, and the other effects or the other usefulness of the second reserve is that during the process, after you summon your first nano, you go into the scene, kill other players, sometimes kill some other elite nanos, and you will receive those mod chips. Those are modifications on your current nano, but you do not receive the benefit right now. It will only take effect when you think another, or when you summon the second nano.
Yeah.
So, spending the reserve, you can summon a better nano.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. I also noticed the upgrade mechanic now works smoothly. So like if you pick up the second ranged DPS nano chip, it will be upgraded to level 2.
Yeah.
So then the next time when you summon your nano of the same type, it will actually be better and stronger. Right? Like it will have probably more HP or something like that, right? Something like that. That's the idea.
Yeah, it's a risk reward loop.
Yeah.
If you put more risk by defeating those threats or nanos in the environment, taking this risk, and you will have more reserve and have more resource in the form of nano chips.
Sure.
Other players can hide themselves. They have this element of surprise, right? They're hiding from the other people, but they lose this chance of enjoy the benefits of different chips.
Yeah. In my match last week, I actually tested with a few bots in a match, and actually I had like a ranged DPS nano that helped me quite a bit to cover me and like just drive away the enemies while I was capturing the shuttle. So that was pretty awesome feeling to like have like the feeling of like being in control, and the full loop now feels much more much smoother and much more clear in that direction. You guys are definitely making things much more convenient. So your main focus is basically to kind of polish that experience of like, syncing and kind of like having summoning and controlling them and having all that work at the end match. One of the things that I noticed earlier in the week last week was that it was very hard to find energy at the beginning, but then later in the next build, very quickly you guys added a bunch more options to get more energy much faster, so you can actually summon them and just experience that.
Yeah, not only player can find those energy by killing nanos in the wilderness, they can also pick those crates up in the scene. So if you scavenge around those warehouses and high-tech buildings like Robo Factory or the research center, you can easily spot those crates scattered around the scene. Just pick them up and you get maybe 100 to 200 units of nano energies.
So you're much more likely to summon it much faster, and then I have that ability to kind of fight off enemies when you see them. Sweet. So in addition to that, you guys also did like a small testing with a few selected players here in China, and how was the overall feedback? Did you guys analyze that yet, or?
Well, overall, it's really, very, very positive and really encourages the team. For example, we have several female players. Some are in university, and some are even more junior. And surprisingly, those female players, the gamers, they really enjoy the game.
Sweet. So they liked the control of nanos and that kind of unique element of the game, right?
Not only the control, but also maybe the only problem they have right now is not enough time to play and to explore the game. But for what they have already covered, they lacked those elements.
Sweet. So overall the feedback has been positive so far. Nice. So is there any, do you have any specific focus for the next coming few weeks on the game, and what do you guys like heavily putting all your time into for the alpha build?
It's accessibility, I think. So first is to help those new players to understand the game. So we're going to spend some more time polishing various hand systems. For example, we added this loading hands, give players some graphics and text to tell him about some knowledge of the game, so that they can try out during the actual gameplay. And also we're continuing polishing the onboarding process. So during the opening sequence, we're adding more and more in it, while still streamline the whole process. We're cutting anything that is unnecessary and adding those essential knowledges to show player what those mechanics look like and how they're supposed to work and how player is supposed to control them.
I noticed. I always try not to skip the intro tutorial sequence because I really want to see the updates every week. And I've seen the updated version of the tutorial actually this week, where now you guys are adding the shield nanos and introducing them, and like how do you use them and how do you like take the biggest advantage of them. I also love that visually it actually doesn't obstruct your vision at all when they're in front of you, but actually it does obstruct vision of your enemies. So it's like they can see that there is nanos shielding you, but you in the back actually have like a clear view, and that's really awesome. So I can see that like the tutorial sequence is also getting upgrades pretty fast. It's dramatic how different the tutorial looked like.
It's also thanks to the user researches that we have done, because they offer very timely feedback to us, so we can change immediately according to those feedbacks.
I also play test, and I also give feedback in a few bullet points of the things that I noticed and how I felt about it overall. So it's definitely helpful. to just see how things evolve. And I'm pretty sure that like the tutorial that we're playing right now is probably not going to look anything like the final version, but that's the idea, right? Like you have to start from somewhere and like kind of build upon that knowledge. Yeah. And so like the idea of like adding the story to the tutorial part is actually really cool to me, because it kind of explains to people while not like detracting from the gameplay, like kind of inserts like a few bits and pieces of like the situation, and kind of giving people the idea of like what happened to the world, like what was the history, and like what how do you end up in the Haven to begin with, right? So that's pretty cool.
And also introducing those characters.
Exactly.
So that players see those faces, and when the Haven, the player base actually, is developed enough so that any chamber is occupied by this NPC or character, player is already familiar with him.
Exactly. Yeah, that's awesome. That's really nice, smooth kind of transition, instead of you just be like, oh, the NPC showed up. I guess he just showed up. You know, it's like, I have no idea where he came from. So having that kind of local backstory and understanding like where all the parts of the Haven, how did they come up to be, right? It's really exciting.
Yeah, player will have this expectation to when should I meet him, and when should I interact with him or her, and what's the relationship between those NPCs, and will they be hostile or be friendly to me?
Yeah,
they will have those anticipations.
Yeah. And at the same time, I can see also an introduction of a bunch of new customization options to the players. So you can go to the vending machine, and of course, like with the temporary UI, you can literally unlock anything and customize your character, which is also very cool. Yeah. Just to see like what kind of visual kind of identity of your character you can build up and like eventually customize. And you know, like of course, you can change everything about your character right now, which is like the idea. But yeah, I'm really a fan of just having that kind of like unlock everything experience, so that we can and then being able to package it in the right way, how it actually would be smooth. I actually asked a few other team members when the Haven would experience like major upgrades, and I think that's planned after alpha, right? Like sometime like when like we have the core actual match loop done, because I think like Haven is basically the meta and like the actual like later down the road sort of experience. So that kind of makes sense, right? Yeah,
Haven offers a really long and deep player progression. Yeah. It has a lot of infrastructure changes along the way. Yeah. For now, you just see those chambers occupied by different specialists. Yeah. And you can interact with them to take quests and to upgrade those facilities in it. Yeah. But along the way, you can do a lot of deeper, more meaningful changes to the Haven itself.
Yeah. I mean, like, you know, for now, like, if once I finish a match, my Haven levels up, I have no idea what leveled up, I have no idea what happened. But that's okay, because, you know, obviously, again, the focus is not here and right now at it, and that's perfectly fine, because that's how the game works. Yeah. So yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me this week. I'm going to make sure that I also get you back over the course of coming weeks, so we can together kind of analyze how we're doing and where we are going. I will keep you guys in the loop as well.
Yeah, I think, I too hope that we can keep those fresh content and exciting enough. Yeah, just keep coming for you guys.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, again, that's the idea. Like each episode, we're trying to show how the game is evolving and how much it's making progress every single week. So far it's been really impressive. Every time I fire up a new version of the game, it's definitely noticeable. So that's extremely fascinating. So yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I will talk to you guys in a week or so. See you later.